Well,
Thank you, dear. Let's go. Let's go.
all right.
Meeting is being recorded.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
It's gonna bother you every time. It's gonna be an issue.
It's an issue. It's an issue. I don't like it.
And we're not even on. So yeah, just
Screws us up. All right. Welcome to episode number 103, right?
103.
Of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Chikaris. Alongside me always is Andrew Andrews. And we are here today. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about the All-Star break and kind of leading up to it and things to expect after the All-Star break. I think that the Red Sox have been exposed a little bit these past two series. I think you're starting to see kind of what we thought they were going to be. And I just hope I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I think they lasted a long time.
We also thought this 3 or 4 weeks ago when there was a little dip,
right.
and then
they kind of came out
picked up again. So
So we shall see what the Red Sox do coming out of this All-Star break. First and foremost, the Red Sox played the Angels. They had a 3-game set with them. I've been dumping on the Angels. Well, we've been dumping on the Angels for years now.
yeah.
So, and then it kind of comes back and bites us in the ass because the Red Sox lose 2 out of 3 against a horrible team. The Angels are terrible.
Without Trout.
Shohei pitched. He did well. I think he hit 308 for that series. He went 4 for 13, had a double, had a homer. So he definitely contributed with the bat and with his arm. They lose to a team that's 1 game over 500. They're nice. Let's low flying ducks. They lose to a team that's 1 game over 500. The Red Sox or whatever they are, 19 games over 500. I mean, it shouldn't have happened.
No, you should do better against teams like that. When you talk about what it takes, it does. No one wins 162 games, right. But you have to win the series against the shitty teams.
Exactly. And then they go in. The Phillies come in. So the road trip wasn't bad. I mean, they split the West Coast road trip. A's, Angels, 3-3. Just the weird part is they took care of business against the A's.
Listen. Before the season started, if you said the Red Sox are going to the West Coast for 6 games, they're going to come back 500. You go, I'll take that. So right. It's not all doom and gloom.
Right. And I think it's just because how it ended.
Yeah, and you seem to, recency bias. You seem to remember that. And it's in the Red Sox over the years have a tendency, this is why they'd always have trouble with places like Kansas City and shit like that. They play better against better teams.
Right.
And they seem to play down a little bit against shitty teams.
It's true, especially this version of the Red Sox with these guys.
Maybe emotion is kind of what's been getting them through a lot of these games. And
right.
It's when you're facing a team that isn't really going anywhere, it's hard to.
Right, and just because I'm thinking about this now, I want to bring it up, but the announcers were talking about this, and some of the players have mentioned it, which is fans being back in the stands at Fenway has energized these guys a lot.
Oh, I definitely think so.
A lot of them said last year Verdugo said it like day one. He's like, it's going to be tough to get up when there's no fans in the stands, but now a lot of these guys have also come in and be like, look, we weren't as bad as we were last year. There's just there wasn't that energy that we feed off of, especially guys that really want to be on the Red Sox and everything else.
They're pros. We expect them to act like pros, but I don't care how dedicated you are to something. Eventually, practice starts to feel like practice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And when it is no one in the stands and stuff like that, at best, it's a practice game.
Right.
It really feels like that.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those simulated games where you need a pitcher to rehab or something, and it's like, okay, guys, let's go play a fake game. So
very inner squad feel. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think that that might have had an effect on the Red Sox, kind of definitely overachieving in the first half. I don't want to dump on them, but then they go out and they lose 2 out of 3 against the Phillies, which again, recency bias. That you didn't want that, and all the announcers were talking about it. You wanted to go in, you wanted to win the series.
The National League East sucks.
Yeah, and they took care of business against the Phillies on that Friday. They killed them. It was 5 or
Which
whatever.
you felt good. They came back from a
Yeah.
in the Angels, and then they come back, they smash through them. Oh, West Coast thing.
Yeah.
We're in good shape.
And then the very next day, the Phillies, take 11 runs from you, and they beat you handily. That was the game where the bullpen imploded.
Yes.
Josh Taylor's streak ended. Brandon Workman looked terrible. It was a stinker. It was a stinker for the bullpen. But I think what you're seeing, so between the sticky tack or the spider tack or whatever being removed, you're starting to see, chinks in the armor of the starting rotation, especially Martin Perez. Martin Perez has not gotten out of the 5th inning, I think, in his last 4 or 5 starts.
No, he has not been impressive, or he's been what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
He's your 4th or 5th starter.
Garrett Richards, the announcers are trying so hard to be good to him.
Oh my gosh.
He's trying to reinvent himself in the middle of the season.
He clearly is, and this is what happens when the team owns the network. And I'm throwing spitballs here off the top of my head, but really from the way that they're handling him, it's almost like there's been a directive from the top. Like, listen, this guy needs a little stroke. You know what I mean? He needs to pump his tires in the long kind of way to go. And it's just they're really trying hard.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like how Felger talks about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, where they'll be like kind of like Price is Right fail horn, and then like someone will call them out on Twitter.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they'll have phenomenal week or something. Like they need to. That's how these younger athletes get motivated. I can't believe Garrett Richards is younger than us, but he is.
There's I just saw I can't remember dude from the Phillies leaving.
Yeah,
I guess he's having a terrible year. Pitcher, what's Fernandez, something like that. And someone from the crowd as they're waiting for the bus. Hey, learn how to pitch. Like he actually stopped and
was gonna
interacted with the guy. What do you look at you fat pig? I'd like to see you. Is there anything worse than professional athletes looking at someone going, I'd like to see you do better?
Yeah.
Listen, dude, if we could, we all would. Don't do that. I was good.
I tried.
I was good. I
tried until this thing happened to me. I couldn't see anymore.
Years ago, I was talking to my kids are like, this goes back when they still did brownies, that pyramid scheme. But some maniac father, he started talking to me. One of these guys who just talks to everybody. Like, I am a no talker. Like, I have headphones in. You don't see that. You know what I mean? So he's talking. And for some reason, we just talked about how, played hockey in high school, played a little bit in college. You know what I mean? And it's like, he looked at me dead serious. And he goes, so why didn't you go to the pros? You don't know. He said, so you didn't want to be a pro?
Yeah. Which is totally different. Like, of course I did.
I go, well, they wouldn't let me. It's like, no one asked. I don't know what you're talking about.
Get drafted. I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's like, when these professional athletes, well, why don't you do better? I can't.
Right.
I know that.
Right.
All right?
Exactly.
I'm still going to yell at you.
Right.
Stop it.
Because that's part of your job and that's part of fandom.
The worst player on a college team who's never even going to sniff single A ball does it way better than us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, high school players are way better than us at this point. Stop.
I know. It's just, it's a moot point. I mean, it's like,
I'd like to see you do better. I'm getting paid $0.
Right.
You're making $9 million this year.
Right. Yeah. And even if I hit the gym for 4 hours a day, I still wouldn't be able to hit a slide.
This is why, and no, you're getting me going crazy here because with the rain, I've been bored just going through Twitter and stuff like this or Facebook. If I see one more post about what the coach wants in an athlete, you know what I mean? All these people who are these experts in coaching, the coach isn't looking for the most talented. They're looking for the kid who's going to put in those extra time. They're looking for, or this one I love, when the team loses by 10, they're looking for the kid on the bench who's still into the game, high-fiving people. Yeah, but it's like every single one of those. It's like if your kid wants to be in the pros, teach them to, understand hard work and the values. And but come on, man. Grow the fuck up.
That's a microcosm of the myth of
everyone gets
America,
a trophy thing. Yeah,
it's hard work pays off sometimes, but But you and I could do all the drills that an offensive lineman does. We
not going to happen,
and we're not going to play in the NFL because even when we were younger, because we literally physically don't have the bulk and size.
Well, it's this refusal that at some point it comes to genetics.
Right, exactly.
You can do it or you can't, and it's and you can argue like from out of sports in this country, like you said, socioeconomically, it's not genetics, but it's like, well, it is genetics. Let's be honest, but like where you are, you know what I mean, things like that. So it's
it's a lot of. There's a lot of things that have to go right for you to be a professional athlete.
I'm so tired of this. Just like the coach wants the hard worker. Yeah, they do, but listen, man. Just from my limited exposure in college athletics and stuff like this, if someone's got the talent, the coach will put up with a lot of bullshit.
Exactly.
A lot of bullshit.
And professional coaches aren't going to be like, well, I'm going to pass up on that talent because this guy has the attitude of Rudy.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's shitheads like Coach K down at Duke who's like, well, I look for somebody who does this. Yeah, because you have the pick of the top 100 players. Exactly. So maybe if you say, okay, the third best player in the country is kind of a dick, I'm going to go for the fourth best player in the country.
Right.
Okay? Most teams, well, we can get the 89th best player in the country who's a dick, or we can get the 433rd best player in the country. You know what I mean?
Who's got a lot of spirit.
Who's got some spunk.
Yeah.
So
no thanks.
I'm tired of it.
All right, so speaking of all that stuff, the Red Sox picked 4th in the draft yesterday.
Yeah, and okay.
First round of the draft. It's their highest pick in years.
This is the most I've ever heard people talk about the baseball draft.
Well, it was on, it's funny, it was on ESPN and the MLB network.
Really?
I was like, ESPN finally, was airing it. I don't know why, but they were. Usually it's on the MLB network. So I was talking to a friend of the show, Drew Athens, and we were talking about, obviously, I think the prize jewel of that draft was Jack Leiter. I think that was who a lot of people wanted to see, Al Leiter's son.
I think that's a big part of it.
Got a good pedigree. I've seen some highlights. So he went second. The Rangers picked him with the second overall pick. The Pirates picked first. They took a catcher. That's the last thing the Red Sox need, isn't it?
I got to tell you also, I mean, he's a great catcher. It's one of those things where it's like taking a goalie in the first round. Yeah, you know what I mean? You just don't know. Yeah, he can be a great guy. That's tough, man. I mean, first pick, you're going.
How many catch? I mean, besides maybe like
you can count on your
Buster
hand.
Posey?
Like catchers in history who they change the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fisk.
You got like Fisk.
Johnny Bench.
Yeah, Pudge.
Yeah.
There's not that many.
Right, exactly.
Herman Munson.
Yeah, even Veritek was very good.
Very good.
Yep.
Veritek's a piece on a team, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. He's not where Buster Posey is arguably, has been a star, for the Giants. So I don't know. But in any case, Leiter goes second. So the Red Sox pick shortstop Marcelo Mayer, who, he's a high school player out of California.
He's the number 1 high school ranked, right?
Right. Number 1 ranked high school player. Some people...
What that's worth. I think we're getting a little excited over that.
Yeah, and some, according to some people, he was essentially the number 1 prospect. The reason why he fell to 4 was because he is a high school kid. But, his numbers are great. I guess his last at bat, for his, state tournament or whatever was a grand slam. And, he's got, supposedly he's got right now, get back to genetics, right? He's got the physical stature of a pro at 18 years old. So I think he's like 6'3", 215 or something. Just naturally gifted. So, look, Kumar Rocker was one of the other pitchers who kind of
went 10th to the Mets, which was very surprising.
Yep.
They talk about, when we talk about other drafts, because, we know, basketball. Basketball is the one I think about the most because you have teams. It comes down to, do you pick the best player available or do you pick what you need?
Yep.
And clearly the Red Sox went for best player available because if we're talking need, they have the best shortstop. I mean, arguably the best shortstop already.
Right. He's starting in the All-Star game, so he's the best shortstop in the American League.
So
But here's what people don't understand on Facebook and everything else. Facebook groups. He's not starting tomorrow.
No.
He's going to be in the minors for probably like 3 years. You know what I mean? So, and by that time, you reassess where Bogarts is. He's got an opt-out after 2022, which I don't think he'll take. But, you never know.
I know.
You know?
I can't be down on it, but I really want this team to start growing pitchers. You know what I mean? They need to be able to grow. John Lester's the last one.
Yeah. Well, and then you see
what's his face? The guitar.
Brian Scarrett.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess. But that's because the Rock dude was the second pitcher on that Vanderbilt team.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Arguably the second best pitcher. I mean, he wasn't the best pitcher on his team because he was next to Leiter.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and he was supposed to go higher, but I guess he had the end of the season was. And
I think he wanted cash. You remember they got to sign these guys.
Right. Exactly.
There's bonuses and it's not.
And I was listening to them talk about Rocker. They think he's going to project as a 2 or 3.
Okay.
So I mean, even though he's top 10, he's not going to be.
You want a number 1 starter?
He's not going to be this
top 10.
This ace. But to your point, the MLB draft is much different than say the NFL draft and the NBA draft. So you think about what the Patriots did. They, out of character, they picked what they needed.
Yes, which is rare for the Patriots.
They picked what they needed, not necessarily the best player in the draft. And, you hear the sound bites of Belichick going, is everyone okay with this pick? Is everyone okay with this pick? And I think maybe it was a mixture because, he did fall a little bit further than what they were thinking. So maybe it was a mixture of.
Oh, my God, he's available. They didn't even consider that being a possibility.
Right. So, maybe there were 2 or 3 guys of different positions that were better picks or whatever, but they did need a quarterback. They needed their quarterback in the future, so they pick him. So the Red Sox go out and get that shortstop. I really don't have a problem. I mean, obviously, I've never seen the kid play. I've never seen his highlights.
I still refuse to get excited over the MLB draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, he's minimum 2 years, probably closer to 4.
Right.
8 gajillion things can happen as far as injuries, as far as getting on the smack, whatever. You know what I mean? Anything can happen.
Well, I mean, how long do we hear about Jay Groom? Jay Groom. Is Jay Groom even in the radar right now for the Red Sox? I mean, he's still down in the minors. I think he had surgery. So, I mean, this was years ago.
Their last top 10 pick is now in Kansas City. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You never know.
They couldn't get him out of town fast enough.
So Matt Barnes signs an extension. I know we didn't talk about that, but
no, I have. Yeah, I love that you brought this up.
Signed an extension yesterday. Believe it's 2 years with an option for 3rd.
Not crazy money.
Not crazy money, which is why a lot of people say this was one of Chaim Bloom's great kind of deals, because right now Barnes is one of the best closers in the American League. Certainly, he's obviously he's going to the All-Star game, and I think it's 8 million. I'm sorry, 7 million, 7 million, then 8 million.
Something like that. A chance for incentives. So the whole thing could be worth 24.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think and no one shits on Matt Barnes more than I do. Okay. I really got to give him credit here, and not even from a baseball sense, from a brain sense. Or at the very least, he's got some smart people actually talking to him.
Right.
How many times over the years have we seen these closers who become lightning in a bottle,
right,
who just are on fire,
right,
and they turn down the deal,
right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? They say, no, I'm worth $20 million a year. I should get at least 12, 15 million, and then it's like 6 months later. And they can't get someone out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're injured. They're just in this weird headspace where the ball keeps hitting the backstop. Right. You know what I mean? So I will give Matt Barnes credit to realize, and maybe he's more introspective than I thought. Because to look back the last couple of years where things were here and there, really good, not good, just to say, listen, man, I got a chance now. $7.5 million a year isn't crazy,
right?
It's still $7.5 million. It's still life-changing money. It's still my family's all set. My kids are probably all set. You know what I mean? So he made the deal. So I got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, and I give him credit for some of the things he said about his success yesterday when I was listening to EEI, the pregame show. He was talking about, he called himself the human rain delay, because he took so long to deliver the pitch, which is obviously a problem in baseball. And he credits the Red Sox analytics team for saying, "Hey, look, you're taking way too long to deliver the pitch, and here's what happens."
Yeah.
Okay? And look, anyone who knows anything about baseball knows this. Your defense kind of spaces out a little bit, kind of a gloss over, and they're just kind of like,
become little league kids again.
Right, they become little, they're picking, dandelions and stuff like that, but not literally, but metaphorically, yes, it happens. Like if you're not like delivering the pitches, these guys get bored.
Think about like Manny Ramirez.
I know.
Pitches were just staring at the wall,
literally in the wall. My bachelor party. We went to go see the Red Sox play the Twins. David Wells pitched for the Reds. David Wells was pitching for the Red Sox. And Manny goes into the wall to piss.
No, he took the piss, yeah.
And, everyone's ready to go. Everyone's ready. Like, Wells is, ready to deliver. And I'm drunk. I'm yelling, "Hey, Ramirez isn't out there yet."
Thanks, coach.
I'm gonna change the game, right? And then
wait, Mark Karras is trying to say something.
Everyone, David Wells is
thanks, Mark.
Looks up 45 rows up and then sees me, like, "Thank you." But then Ramirez cut. But they did. Someone noticed, and they called time.
Yeah,
so it's ridiculous. So the other thing he had to say was, he talked about opposing hitters, and he said, when you if you're delivering the pitch quicker, I didn't really even think about this. When you're delivering the pitch quicker, the opposing batters don't have a chance to
think about
what's coming, all the possibilities.
Scratch their crotch for the 37th time.
Exactly. So is always he going to throw me a breaking ball? Is going to throw me a slider? Oh, I don't know, because here comes a pitch.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so I thought that was really interesting for him to say that, because I agree with that. I think that's a thing. So I'm glad that they have him because, look, even if he can't close in 2 years, the money's
it's not crazy money. Listen, when I heard he signed, I was like, because I expected and this is where Chaim Bloom is making me feeling better, because I expected a 3-year, $45 million, something like that. And then all of a sudden,
Kenley Jansen of the Dodgers, who I don't watch a ton of Dodgers games, but when they're on, I try to watch because Mookie Betts and all that, and the Dodgers are a good team. But Kenley Jansen isn't this great closer, and he makes $20 million. And Chapman, we've seen. By the way, did the Yankees lose yesterday?
Yes, they did.
They did, right? But they were up.
They gave up.
Yeah, they gave up 8 runs in the
6.
Yeah, because I was at my kids' Little League games, but I have my father-in-law was a Yankees fan, was there, and he was on his phone.
I heard it was a couple
losses. I can't believe they just lost that game. So good for the Yankees.
I do like the idea. It's just, and also Barnes, and let's give him credit and his agent credit. A lot of guys who were doing the whole free agent thing, it ain't working out the way they thought. Right. And there's been rumors that the owners actually got together and said, "Listen, we're clamping down," and until someone gigantic is out there. Right. But you know what I mean? It's so maybe
they do that every so often.
Maybe there's some truth to that because there's been a lot of people who are testing the market and not happy with what's coming back. Right.
Well, you look at Mike Trout. I mean, Mike Trout signed. I believe it was 2 years ago. He signed an extension, didn't even wait for free agency, and the announcers were talking about this. A guy like Mookie Betts was hell-bent on doing the free agent process.
Yep.
Some guys don't like that. And Matt Barnes kind of alluded to the fact that he liked Boston. He wanted to stay here. Some guys like the security over the money.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like our career choice, right? I like having 2.5 months off.
No, you just know that's the deal.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't get paid, $1 million.
No, we're never going to have a great year where we make tons of money. You know what I mean? But it's guaranteed there.
It's steady. It's guaranteed.
And they keep paying us when we retire.
Yeah, you get the time off. So it's a choice. It's a choice that these guys make, and I get it. All-Star game, Colorado. Red Sox have five guys. I just hope no one gets hurt. Everyone on the internet's like, why isn't Rafi Devers in the home run derby. I don't want him in the home run derby because it screws guys up.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm all set.
I do. I'm very glad that they're allowing Ohtani.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're having him be in the home run derby because there was talking. I can get as the Angels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I think that's one of those things that kind of transcends their actual season.
Well,
it's important.
It's important.
It's important to baseball. I think they have him in. So I'm actually going to watch the home run derby tonight.
Me too.
Probably the first time. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say I never watch it, but I'm always a flipper to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this will be the first time I watch it in about 10 years or so.
I didn't catch up on this. Is Tatis? Is he in it? He's probably has to be, right?
I think he is. Acuna Jr. is out.
Okay, he's out.
He's ACL. I think he's done for the year.
Oh, yeah. They hit him
ACL.
again. The Marlins hit him again.
I know, I saw.
He's just like, he's like collapsing. He's like, why does this keep happening to me?
He's not big enough to be like Don Baylor. You know,
right,
Don Baylor had some cushion. He was getting hit by the ball all the time.
That dude never flinched.
He didn't move.
He'd get hit. You get hit right here all the time.
You could tell there was days he just like didn't really feel like swinging.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get up.
He's like, I'm just gonna hang out over the plate. All right. So then the Red Sox, after the All-Star break, the Red Sox have a 4-game series with the Yankees. They go back a day earlier than the rest of the league. The Yankees and the Red Sox, they play that Thursday night featured game, which is a new thing that, well, not new, a couple years old. MLB does, like, hey, we're back. You know,
is this the streaming thing?
What's that?
Is this the streaming or is it?
I'm not sure, but I think it's just the Red Sox and the Yankees on that Thursday. And Kike Hernandez was not happy extra.
Hey, come on. Yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna be surprised anymore when these athletes are bummed out about stuff that just really shouldn't be that big of a deal. You know, he made another awesome catch yesterday. So Jackie Bradley.
Yeah, he's playing well. I mean, I just again,
he's playing well, so I'm gonna let it go. If he was hitting 120, 150,
if he was hitting like Jackie Bradley Jr.,
yeah, there'd be some discussions. But he's playing well. He's gonna gripe a little bit. It's I'm conflicted about it because when you just a regular job, if you had to be there the day before everyone else, that would blow.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and I get it, especially for a lot of these guys who, I'm not sure where he's from, but a lot of these guys like to go home and spend that time with their family, and some guys prefer it to actually going to the All-Star game. You know what I mean? There are guys that have been selected that have opted not to go.
Some sports and
phantom injury
in hockey now they fine you.
Yeah,
if you don't go to the All-Star game, and I think basketball might do that. I know because it's just guys wouldn't go.
Right. Yeah, and guys have been doing it in baseball all the time. That's why with the Red Sox, it's kind of a catch-22 with guys going into the All-Star game. Like, I'm happy that our guys are there.
It means they're playing well. It means they're winning.
Of course, it means they're winning. It's not like this year, one of those years, I think it was, 2012 when the Red Sox were in last place and Brock Holt was our lone All-Star representative. So,
the old San Diego Padres.
When your utility guy is your only All-Star representative, that means you're having a bad season. So, but then they come out of there, they play the Yankees, and I think that series is going to be very telling because if they come out and they lose that series, now you've lost 3 series in a row, and really, your bullpen and your offense have been carrying you arguably since the spider tack shit went down. So how sustainable is that? These starting pitchers have to figure it out. I think you're going to see Tanner Houck up here sooner rather than later.
We keep hearing that, but
and then because honestly, guys like Perez and Richards and even Pivetta has been hey, we like Pivetta, he battles, but it's like he's kind of he's been struggling a little bit.
No, none of these guys are top of the order rotation guys.
So and by the way, the thing we were talking about a couple of shows ago about Chris Sale. When he returns, having almost being like an opener type situation. Yep. They were talking about that on the radio where they might have Houck come in. Mm-hmm. When Sale comes back, have Houck also come in and do like a little tandem there.
Maybe, that'd be nice.
So they can get them through 6 or 7 innings.
And they did say, too, they were also they might be taking a little longer than normal to bring Sale back. So it's a situation where, like, out of the gate, they're looking for like 5 innings. They're not looking for 3.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's no rush right now.
No,
because things are okay. You're still in first place.
Yep.
You're pretty comfortable. I mean, the Yankees stink, which helps definitely. Tampa Bay seems to kind of leveled off at what they are.
Yeah, they're kind of hanging around though. They you know, I don't know, what was it? A week ago, the Red Sox were up by like 5 games or something. Now it's like 2.
Now it's 2.
So,
Toronto,
yeah,
they're still too young.
They're not a factor. And I'm sorry, but them not being able to play in front of normal fans, I think, is part of the reason why they're not playing as well as everyone expected them to play. They're playing in a minor league facility in Buffalo. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? I mean, at this point, that's ridiculous. But final thoughts. Italy wins the Euro. I was pissed. I wanted England to win. That first goal by England was gorgeous. Then, of course, Italy comes back and ties it. But I wanted, you know, I always like to see, you know, it's at Wembley. I wanted to see those people go absolutely.
I did too.
Bananas.
Even from the beginning, I didn't love England's game plan. Right. You looked at it; they had five guys in the backfield, and you know, and so
very defensive.
Clearly, they were trying not to lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which you'd think if that was the plan, their penalty kick guys would be a lot better because that's what they were trying to do.
Right.
But when they scored, it was almost like that goal was great, but it was kind of just like, wow. They didn't expect that. You know what I mean? And it was almost too early.
Yeah. Because
they went into that defensive shell and we're just going to allow Italy to move the ball on the outside. And the strikers that Italy has in the front were just too fast, too good.
Yeah.
They were going to score if you're not pushing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just too bad. And then you go to PKs and
and anything can happen with PKs. It doesn't, you know. Unfortunately, that's just how it works.
But man, fucking soccer fans, just like, well, you know, like the people of England, you know, well, we're happy with this. You know, 4 years ago they lost to Iceland in the round of 16, and it's just like, dude, your team choked.
Yeah, exactly.
Your team caught this one.
And you were at home.
You were at home.
Yeah.
60,000 people in the stands. Only 8,000 of them were Italy fans.
Were Italy fans, yeah.
Okay, that's 52,000 people.
I know.
And that's not full. They said it was only 75% full.
Yeah.
It was full by the end of the game. Oh, yeah. So I don't know where people were coming from.
Well, they said that
before the game, right?
Before the game, they said people were trying to storm
it must have been nuts.
But yeah, you know, it's just having seen Portugal win the last Euro.
Yeah.
Being from the area we live in, and it was my mom's birthday. I was in downtown Fall River anyway, out to eat, and like the city went bananas. It was wicked fun to see.
And the North End was like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you know, I'm sure Providence was.
Did you see the video online before the game? There was some like square in London near Wembley Stadium where people were just smashing bottles. Like it was like literally like people were just like there was just broken glass everywhere, and it was kind of okay.
Yeah.
it was like, hey man, we got a game. Hey, we're getting fired up.
That's what happens if you've been cooped up for 16 months.
I was really hoping for like just a banana scene there, but they coughed it up. They're a young team. They'll be back.
Yep. All right, that's episode 103 of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Chikaris. Alongside me always, Andrew Andrews, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Recording stopped.